Yo, what up guys, Decided here. The fusion for the month of June 2025 is officially in the game right now. Starting today, you can pick up rares and epics to eventually fuse into getting this legendary champion. Tolin the Foulbeard is available right now. If you've already seen some champion battle test about him, especially one I saw from Buzo, we can tell that this champion is going to be a good damage dealer. I guess that's why he's sort of an old school fusion. By being an old school fusion, it means it's not that easy to obtain. It's not a fragment fusion. Old school fusion are known to always be a little bit more difficult than the fragment fusions, right? So starting today, you can start these fusion activities and begin to pick up the rares. In this video, I'm going to be sharing you my plan, because if you don't start to look at the plan right now at the beginning of the fusion, you will not know which events to skip, which ones to miss, and making sure you pick up all the rares. You know, maybe save some resources along the way so you don't go extra bored and spend too much on a fusion like this. All right. So what do we know about this champion so far? I'm not here to talk about his kit. We already can tell that he's going to be a good one, but we finally can tell what his character looks like, because for a while when we were talking about the champion, the fusion is coming, fusion prep, we did not even know what it looked like. We just was left with a shadow of the champion, Tolin Foulbeard, and now we can see his whole character design in all his glory and can tell whether some people who like the aesthetic can go over there and check him out. But one thing I'm missing though is champion lore. I thought there's usually a champion that is coming out, they usually have the reviews and their lore about him, but I guess he's new. There is no character lore about him yet. Strange. Anyways, we are not here to talk about that. I'm not interested. I'm more interested in this fusion plan that just launched right here, and that's the fusion event calendar for June 5th all the way to June 19th. Take note, this type of fusions cannot be saved. If by these 2 weeks and 10 hours you don't click this fuse button, your entire effort of getting the rares and the epics will be gone. So for newer players, obviously you can't go for a legendary fusion like this. You have to cut your losses short and pick up either the rare if it's good or the epic. So in this video, I'll take a quick look at their skills, the rares and the epic, to see whether it's one of those amazing epic that will be a game changer for players who cannot get an old school fusion like this. All right, let's take a look at the fusion plan now. This is one of the rare times where, well, it has happened before, where a dungeon divers is starting immediately as the fusion kicks off. So that's the first line I'll draw right here, showing you that dungeon divers is running with the spider. There's no need to take 1 day off. You can start the fusion today being Thursday the 5th, and yeah, you can go into your spider and start spending those energy you've been saving. You can see, do I have energy saved? 568 energy. I can even start farming the dragon right now, so that event can get done real quick. But as usual, a dungeon divers, since we begin to know it right now in fusion, always cuts across 2 events. So while you're running the spider, your dungeon divers will go halfway, and then you can use the champion training to complete the rest of the dungeon divers. Or is there another event? No. So the first one will be spider and champion training, 2 events to help you complete dungeon divers. The spider, the ice golem that is coming up next on a Sunday, does not cut into the first dungeon divers. So the champion training and the first spider is what you need to complete the first dungeon divers. All right, with that out of the way, I'm not talking about the summon rush first. I'm just looking at the dungeon events before I go into the summon rush, because that will be a very determining factor for newer players to find out. By the way, you pick up 4 rares from 4 events, 4 rares from 4 events, 4 rares from 4 events, 4 rares from 4 events. That's how it is, structured. That means you cannot skip out on any of these events that are on this whole line right here. That's why people don't like old school fusion, because none is skippable. There is nowhere to grab extra rare or something, except you're lucky enough to pull the rare from a void shard. Yes, the rare is a void champion, so it's going to be hard to pick. Well, it's going to be easy, extremely easy to pick up a rare like this from a void shard. That's assuming we have a reason to summon our void shards during one of those summon rush or champion chase events that might be coming up during this fusion. All right, I'm looking for some other tips and tricks to throw into this video concerning this calendar. The first one was that dungeon divers is starting. The second one was that dungeon divers has only 1 spider event, no second dungeon event, but instead of a champion training event. And now dungeon divers 2, which you want to take note of, does not start along with the dungeon divers 2. Ice golem does not start with the dungeon divers 2, so you have to wait till Monday. When Dungeon Divers 2 kicks off, that's when you can begin to go crazy in the Ice Golem. So Ice Golem can chill on Sunday, no need to touch it until the second day, Monday. And then this Dungeon Divers 2 does not cut across a second dungeon event. That means this champion training right here cuts across this other second Dungeon Divers event. So this means that this champion training will be a long one. You can already tell it starts on a Friday and ends on a Tuesday. That's a long champion training. I hope the points requirement for this champion training is nothing crazy. I hope it's the standard one that we already know about. But anyways, that's something to take note of. This champion training is going to be a little bit of a problem. But we just need one rare for the champion training. Hopefully it's not in a very far distance, and it's not a champion training you need to complete all the way. All these dungeon events, you can just pick up the rare and end it right here. Save the rest of the resources for something else, right? So Dungeon Divers 2 is coming up with the Ice Golem, and then there is no other dungeon event with this Ice Golem 2. With that out of the way, let me look at the third one. Yes, we do have a Dungeon Divers 3 right here, and it cuts across this champion training again, and it cuts across this dragon. So champion training and dragon is what you use to complete the Dungeon Divers. There's something missing. Fire Knight. Okay, you have Fire Knight running across this Dungeon Divers 3. So that's the 4 events, right? What about Ice Golem? Okay, we have dragon. Spider is starting first. Dragon is next. Ice Golem is next. Dragon is third, and Fire Knight is fourth. Those are the 4 dungeons events that cut across these Dungeon Divers, all lapping with the champion training. The first one is the first champion training. The second or the last one is another champion training event, which is also a little bit long. Now, Classic Arena 1 and 2 is standard. Champion Chase and Summon Rush. That's the next thing I want to look at. In the past, we've seen players decide right off the bat that once they see this epic champion right here, once they see an opportunity to pick up this epic champion, they will grab him instantly during the Summon Rush. This will give them an opportunity to skip out on 4 of these events you just saw me mention right here. So if you can pick up this epic champion during the Summon Rush, it will give you an opportunity to miss out on 4 rares. That means 4 events that you don't like. Either this first champion training, you just cross it off. Either this champion chase, you can cross it off. So this getting 1 copy of the epic gives you an opportunity to skip out on 4 of these events. So especially for those who have a busy schedule, you don't know how busy you are during this month of June, you might want to just grab the epic, and maybe if you're busy, you can't complete 1 or 2 events, you still have a way of catching up. But this Summon Rush is starting up on Friday. That means if you do not grab the Summon Rush on this Friday, if you do not grab this epic, and then during the week you now miss, during the month of June you now miss something along the way, this fusion is ended for you. You cannot complete it. So in order to make it easier for yourself, the shortcut way is always to grab the epic right here and then forget about all 4 events. This shortcut method I'm telling you about, I never really go for it, because the Summon Rush is not the best, because it probably will be is it not a 2x? It's not a 2x. We just had a 2x on Secrets, 2x on Primal. So this weekend coming up Friday, 6th June, it's not going to be a 2x. It's probably going to be a normal 10x, normal 15x. And these are not the best time to summon shards. And these are not the time that I like to summon my shards. Enough shards to pick up an epic. Fine, it's a shortcut, but I don't like to summon my shards, whether it's going to be any type of shard. I don't like to summon them when there is no boosted chance of getting epics and legendaries attached to it. That's why it starts on this Friday, Saturday, runs all the way to Sunday, even up to Monday. That Summon Rush will require you to summon approximately, let's just say, 9, 11. We've seen crazy amount of Sacred Shards requirements for a Summon Rush, because Sacred Shards are still the best way to complete Summon Rush events if you want to pick up an epic like this. So if you have that number of shards, that Summon Rush and Champion Chase is done for you. But guess what? This Champion Chase also, we've known from previous fusions that they make it so enticing that for those who went for the epic champion who can skip out on 4 of these rares, you still might want to go for this Champion Chase when you see the awesome rewards that they will be adding to it. This Champion Chase might also run along a chance to pick up this Tolun Foulbeard Perfect Soul or something, or Split Souls. So that's just speculation coming from me, but we've seen that normally fusions like this normally are followed by a soul. Maybe this one they'll wait until the fusion has actually ended to the last day we obtain him, and that's when they now launch the chance of getting the perfect soul. I call it the fusion after the fusion, because like it or not, chances of getting a 5-star soul for a champion like this requires you to do as much work as you just did for picking up the champion himself. All right, that's my fusion plan right here. Am I going for the epic? No, but I'm encouraging you, if you'll be busy, to go for the epic. Will I have time to complete all other events during the month of June? Yes, that's why I'm not going for the epic. Why am I not going for it? Because I don't like 2x. I don't like events that don't boost your chances of getting legendaries or epics from your shards. All right, fusion plan done. Now, one more thing before I end the video, I want to take a closer look at these rares and these epic champions, see whether there are anything that is worth grabbing and keeping for newer players coming in. This is an epic Gnarok's Blackhorn. The first time I'm seeing this champion skill, each hit has a 30% chance of placing decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. That's not unique. It can be boosted up to a 50% chance of placing decreased speed. That's good. There are champions, there are epics who also place A1 decreased speed. They are useful. With the help of masteries, you can even boost it to 55% instead. Now, places ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also places counter attack buff on this champion for 2 whole turns. Ally protection and counter attack. This seems like a clan boss kind of skill, but this skill can also be useful in general content. It makes your allies take less damage when they are protected, and he gets to use his A1 more often when he has this counter attack coming in when hit. Now for the A3, Bullish Fighter is a A3 skill on a 5-turn cooldown. When booked, it goes down to a 4-turn cooldown. This skill has a 50% chance of placing provoke debuff for 1 turn. AoE provoke 50-50, booked up to a 75% chance of placing provoke for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be resisted if this champion's defense is lower than the target's. If this champion's defense is lower than the target's, but he's a defensive based damage dealer, why would you build his defense to be lower than the target's? Well, I guess against bosses, Hydra, most wave content will have their defense lower than him. If this champion's defense is lower than the targets, I'm thinking a defensive based champion like this will be built 4k, 5k defense. That means the enemy's defense might be already lower than him. It might be hard to land this provoke if you don't put that into consideration and build his defense 2500 or something crazy like that. Places 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. A Fire Knight's useful skill, I guess, but none of his other kits works in the Fire Knight or any other content. Passive: whenever an ally attacks and whenever an enemy attacks an ally under ally protection buff, has a 15% chance of placing provoke debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. So somebody else in the team gets attacked, he gets to place this provoke. There's no cooldown on this skill. It's still gonna be that's a very low chance. So we cannot rely on this champion as a provoker, basically. Well, except you don't have any choice but to use him in this content. I feel like there's nothing special about this champion. Maybe for the new faction war hard, they're considering the fact that they've not, made some available recommendations for champions in the Skinwalkers, and they're trying to fill up the gaps with champions like this, because that's why maybe he also has the faction script order of 30%. I don't know. I'm just thinking whenever I get to the Skinwalkers, I'll find out whether there's a need, there's a place where this champion can shine. Besides that, there's really nothing he's special about in terms of his kit. Not in Hydra, not in Clan Boss, but for early game players who cannot go for the fusion legendary champion, is definitely worth getting the epic and resting your soul. Now for the rare champion, Glessag Cytrel, will it be the new best champion in raid in terms of the rare category? Let's find out, because it's been a while since raid gave us a useful rare champion we can use all the way to the end game. Gone are the days when rares used to be that good, and since this is not a void, it's a void. Since this is a void rare, it should be good, right? Attacks on enemies, 35% chance of placing decreased accuracy debuff, small version of decreased accuracy as usual. Not useful A1. 50% chance of placing heal reduction debuff. AoE heal reduction is a 50% chance booked up to a 75% chance of placing AoE heal reduction. 3-turn cooldown for 2 turns. 100%. That's an epic skill. Normally you see rares coming here with their heal reduction being the 50% heal reduction. But this is a rare that is actually placing 100% heal reduction. Even if the only content to use him in the early game is that magic keep to stop the boss from healing, who knows? Well, there are not a lot of players who need heal reduction in the early game except that boss. But that's a strange thing to see, 100% heal reduction on a rare champion. Even if it's a 75% chance of landing it when booked. And a 3-turn cooldown also. Kind of strange. Places block debuff buff on all allies for 1 turn, fills the tormentor of all allies by 15%, 4 turn cooldown. AoE block debuff buff is also useful. Also another skill that you normally find in a epic champion. And the tormentor fill by 50%. This champion is kind of good, but I don't feel like newer players need to use him in any particular content where his reduction is necessary. Maybe if you just leave him at level 50 and use him for that content, it's fine. 2 turn heal reduction on a 3 turn cooldown is good. So this is not a cleanse, this is just a block debuff buff. Still useful. So that's all I have to say about this rare champion, Glesag and Cythereal, and this epic champion. Nothing really special about them in terms, so I'm not be going extra hard to pick them up if I was a newer player in raid. But as you naturally play the game during the week, during this 2 weeks that this fusion is going on, either you do classic arena, you summon your shard during the 2x on champion chase, you might naturally pick up one copy of the epic, and that's fine. It's good to always have one of them and keep just for future reasons, right? Now that the game has been updated, and let me add to the end of the video that this event that we've all been waiting for has finally launched. I don't want to record a separate video about this, but it's been talked about so much that we've been waiting. Is the coalition event, where we all have to come together as a community. I'll talk more about this one on a live stream right after you're watching this video. I'll probably go live on YouTube. We'll talk more about this coalition event and see what all the quests I can do. Let's just do some live stream and play along with this and see what this event is all about. I don't want to hype it up right now, whether it's going to be bad or good, whether we're not going to be on the top 100 players. I don't know yet. Anyways, it's the event, and we can see that's why the whole Bastion has changed into the colorful red that we are all expecting as the demon spawn invade. And also, that's not all that is coming. The new event dungeon is also active right now for 8 weeks. You get to come in here and fight your way all the way from stage 1 all the way to stage 30. Was it 25 before or 30? I forget where the stages ended before. Was it 25 or 30? I was expecting it to end at 25 like all our dungeons, but I'm seeing 30. I forget whether the last rotation was also 30 or not. Let me know in the comments. But anyways, I will fight my way from stage 1 to 10. Guaranteed I can get that one done without any help. But as we go along to the other stages, we'll have to follow some guides by creators and other members of the community who are currently putting together teams that can get this knocked out at the highest level. So I'm looking forward to putting together such teams, and I'll do that maybe live on the stream after I get done with my faction war hard mode battles for the day, right? Anyways, catch you all in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me what in the comments below what you make of this fusion calendar and the fusion champion himself. Is it one you want to go for based on what you're seeing about his damage, since we now know his multipliers and people are much impressed about him? Is the fusion calendar strange in any way? Do you have any tips and tricks to navigate it? Let me know in the comments below. For now, mine is straightforward. Pick up the epic if you're gonna be busy. Go for all the rares if you know you have the time. Later, guys.